Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Joy Platform. And today we are on session 4 on our Moms to Be journey. And today we are going to learn how to heal our emotional body through pregnancy and after delivering the baby. And we have Kavitha Garu here, a great speaker, our guest speaker today. Little introduction about Kavitha Garu. Dr. Kavitha Gowthavaram, who is internationally recognized psychologist, Harvard certified child rights professional, and professor on positive psychology, also known as happiness woman, early interventionist, and psychometric test professional. She has counseled almost 615,000 women and adolescents across 63 countries. And Today we are going to get the wisdom from Kavitha Garu to how to take care of our emotional body throughout our pregnancy and after delivery. Welcome, Kavitha Garu. Thank you so much for being with us today. Yeah,
Thank you.
it is
Thank you
all
so
yours.
much.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Your journey is very inspirational, ma'am. I went through your introduction. So, could you please tell us about your journey, your spiritual journey, and how you have inspired so many people, how you're able to help so many women? When I saw the number 613,000, I was like, is it possible in one lifetime to help so many people? It was so inspirational. So, please
Yeah.
share your journey with us.
Thank you so much, Swayam. Um, I first thank you so much for inviting me on this platform, and then it's such a pleasure to see the moms to be and the young moms here. Um, so I think anything, everything is possible if the intention to do so is strong. Because when the intention is strong to do something for women or for anything, for any work, opportunities keep coming to you. Because as human beings, we're all quite negatively hardwired, and we start seeking excuses when we have to do something. So I would rather say my connection to spirituality and my connection to my masters has been a kind of a blessing to me, wherein I was guided, I was shown the path, and then I was, I was made to realize that every person, if they want to do something in life, there is always a way to do it. If you do not want to do something, there is always an excuse not to do that. So I think that's where I come from. In fact, I have got into the meditation, the spirituality. In fact, I'm a Kriyaban. I follow Kriya, and then I'm a follower of Mahavatar Babaji, and I'm a Sri Vidya Upasaki. So I think both these things, both these schools of spirituality has definitely has given me a purpose in life. And I think that each one of us, we have a purpose, and then the whole point is to identify what the purpose is. And so when I was working, when my daughter was quite young, when I was working with different schools, I when I was working with at my daughter's school, I started doing it, not at a very conscious level, but at a very unconscious level, because people come to me because I'm a psychologist, so there are issues that keep coming in, you know. So I used to give them thoughts, how to be more positive, how to do that, and then so it all started not with a very strong awareness that I have to do something in life. What started as a very casual journey, I started realizing if I can bring in changes in women, because I think one of the biggest thoughts that has actually given me my purpose, or situation that has given me my purpose, is one of the lady who was working at my school. She tried a couple of times to take her life. But for some reason, it didn't work. So she came back to school because she couldn't stay at that home. So she wanted some change, and she came back to school for work. And then, So she met me one day and then she said, Kavitha ma'am, this is my problem. I don't want to live. I tried, I have developed suicidal tendencies and then, I did try, taking away life a couple of times, but for some reason it didn't work. And once I got so feared, that I couldn't go ahead with my thought. Then, I thought that I need to work with this lady seriously on to understand, like, how do I really bring back life to her? Is it really, can I do something about it? So that's how that's in fact, I still thank that lady and I have a lot of gratitude for that lady, because maybe probably if she had not come into my life, I would have never realized the purpose of my life. So the journey, in fact, started there. So I worked with her, and whenever there were negative thoughts, so I tried to, rephrase her verbatim, her thought processes onto something positive, to see something more positive in the most negative situation, and then probably try out, So a kind of, cognitive behavior therapy practices I started implementing on her, and then I saw a great response from her. So the news slowly spread, and then people started, coming to me for their concerns. And then one day while I was meditating, because I have been meditating for quite some time now. So while I was meditating, then a thought struck me. I still feel that it is a divine, instruction that has come to me, wherein I was told that I need to work with women, I need to work with adolescent children, and then children are the forte, because that is the generation that we are going to, check into the future. So then things started coming to me. The opportunities started opening up. And honestly speaking, my effort, if I have to say, it is around 30, 40%, 60%, the opportunities were actually coming to me. This is my experience. So that is how I could reach. Maybe to narrate a very interesting experience of mine. I come from a place called Sriharikota. So it's an island, so we need to go by train to reach out to that place. So I was once traveling in the train, and the co-passenger asked me, "What are you?" And I said that I'm a psychologist. So eventually, when people know that it's a psychologist sitting, they come out with their problems to understand, or to get a solution, or to know, like, whatever it is. So they started talking to me, and then without realizing this, I started giving them a solution to the problem. And then I was so engrossed in my giving solution to that, the concerns, and listening. And then I started giving, and my voice is quite loud, so, and I couldn't speak slow. So the more, after some time, when I saw the whole compartment has gathered, to listen to, and they started, asking the problems, so
Wow.
it's a very interesting experience. And so this is how, like, I was not seeking opportunities. In fact, I would say that I didn't go behind the opportunities, but I was seeing the opportunities in the situation. So wherever there was a possibility, I was trying to take the opportunity, and then that's how the number could be reached. Maybe if I had to plan and then say during my working hours, within this 8 hours bracket, I need to work, probably it would not have been possible. So I never put a time frame bracket to that. So I saw an opportunity in every given situation, because I thought that you never know, because there is no guarantee that, you wake up to see the sun tomorrow. So I felt that whatever is the best possibility that I do get, I need to utilize it. So I would definitely say, if your intention is quite strong, opportunities keep coming to you. So you don't wait for the opportunities, you create the opportunities. To create the opportunities, your intention has to be very genuine and strong.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kavitha garu. Very well said. Yes, we might see or we might not see tomorrow. All we have is today, and we have to work our best towards it. And very inspirational journey, Kavitha garu. Friends, this is an open platform. If you have any questions, uh, please feel free to ask. Today is our emotional healing part, how to take care of our emotions. You just don't have to be mom or anybody having. We go through with the emotional stress. So if you have any questions, please go ahead. And ma'am, I have one question like, do you have any effective techniques to reduce the stress for, especially during the pregnancy for pregnant moms? What do you suggest?
Oh, yeah. So So before I give the techniques, probably I want the young moms to understand the neuroscience behind that,
Okay.
because that's the first awareness that comes in there. Okay. See, we need to understand a mother's emotional state is not just a personal experience. Okay. It becomes the emotional environment in which the child is developing, because a mother might think that it is her own personal trauma, her own personal emotion, negative emotion that is within her, and it is not impacting. So please do understand. Please do understand. Mom's emotional state is the emotional environment in which the child is grown, the child is nurtured, because a child only understands the emotional tone, not the words, not the words. The emotional tone and the body language, it does to play a very, very important role. It's quite normal that during pregnancy, that, it's quite normal to feel fearful, to feel guilty, to feel overwhelmed, okay, to feel emotional ups and downs, because there are body changes, there are sleep changes, there are many changes that is happening within the system, both the mental system as well as the physical system. So we need to understand that nothing is wrong with you. Please understand, nothing is wrong with you. Your nervous system is actually adapting to one of the biggest transitions in the human life, because there is a transition with respect to your physical state, there is a transition with respect to your day-to-day routines, there is a transition with respect to your emotional state, your mental state. What you have been earlier, you are not that now. It's quite normal. So first thinking that, oh, I'm feeling stressed during pregnancy, or the after delivery, that is all normal. So don't feel guilty about it. You don't need to feel, it's all quite normal. So first start normalizing your emotions. You have every right to feel fear. You have every right to feel guilty. You have every right to feel overwhelmed. You have every right to feel emotional ups and downs. You have every right to experience the bodily changes, the sleep changes, your routines. It's all normal. It's all normal. Please understand. You don't look into what is appearing outside. What you are looking into is the biggest transition, and you're getting ready for the transition. Then that is the biggest transition in human life which you're experiencing, and that is a very, very beautiful journey. So it is okay to feel stressful, but if you understand it is normal to feel stressful, you will not feel stressed. When you start thinking, I'm stressed, I just delivered a baby, or, I'm going to deliver a baby, my sleep is going to get disturbed, my body is going to change, there's going to be so many changes with respect to my routines. And then, I'm going to have a tough time, all this loop of thought processes, it starts keep giving you stress again and again. So please understand, these are all normal. This is all normal. Okay. So you have to understand few things. These are all the key points, okay? Key points. First, baby sense your emotional tone than your words. Even the born baby, it senses the emotional tone than your words, okay? Than your words, okay? And stress hormones that you are carrying, that impacts both the mother and the child, okay? Here, what is more important is, we don't expect, you don't expect to be the ideal moms. It just doesn't work. There is no ideal mom. What is very, very important during pregnancy or just after pregnancy, what is more important is how regulated your emotional state is, how regulated your nervous system is. Are you able to really regulate your nervous system? That's what matters at the end of the day. Okay. So, what is happening when the mother is continuously anxious? Okay. Sleep gets affected. There are digestion changes that keep happening. Okay. The emotional bonding with the child becomes very, very difficult, because all the time you're only focusing on the survival mode. You want to protect yourself. So the emotional bonding with the child happens when you're more calmer, when your nervous system is more stable. When the nervous system is more stable, the oxytocins are released, the bonding happens between you and the child. you and the child. Okay, so you need to you when you feel emotionally safe, okay, the bonding improves, the feeding improves, your recovery improves, and the baby's nervous system also becomes quite calmer. We see some children keep crying a lot. The reason could be anything else as well. There could be some comorbid conditions associated, but what we need to understand, the emotional state of the mother is experienced by the child. Is experienced by the child. So it's very, very important that you know how to be more calmer, more calmer. Okay. So if I have to put it in a single line, you need to know that your nervous system is borrowed by your baby. Okay, your baby doesn't have an exclusive nervous system. Your nervous system is borrowed by your baby. Okay, so this is something that is very, very important. So in order to actually understand how to be more calmer, you need to know that, okay, happiness is not your constant. Let us redefine happiness. How do we redefine happiness during motherhood? Okay, so you might think that happiness is a constant excitement wherein you achieve something, you do something. There is always the state of, the dopamine state, where you feel you're winning over, all the time. So you need to know happiness is not about the constant excitement which otherwise you have experienced in your life before becoming a mother. Okay, it's not about that excitement. Okay, so and motherhood is not about the perfection. It's not about the perfection. Okay, the calm moments, if you can experience calmness during the motherhood, that itself is happiness. Please underline this. If you can experience calm moments during the motherhood, that is the greatest happiness that you can think of. I know few mothers, like, the baby goes to sleep, the mom gets half an hour to 1 hour time, 1 hour time, half an hour to 1 hour time. The mom sits in, she thinks she has to relax. But more than the thought or the act of relaxation, the mind always thinks of what if the baby suddenly wakes up? What if somebody's knocking at the door? What if something happens? What if something? There are 101 questions that's inside the mind. You're not able to be in calm. Okay. So you need to change the idea of the quantity of time to quality of time. Even if you can stay calm without thoughts, if you can stay calm. So how do you stay calm is the question asked by Swayam. That's where I'm coming to, because when you can understand what are the things that are creating this chaos or clutter in your mind, you start seeking solutions to come out of it, Okay. So you have to find joy in the small pauses. Okay. Because if I tell you, don't think negative, you can't stop yourself from thinking negative. You eventually you start thinking more and more negative. Okay. Because when I say don't do that, your brain wants to do that even more. So the one of the biggest strategies that I always tell the new moms or moms to be is start finding joy in small pauses. You get a small pause of 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Don't say, I got only 5 minutes. I slept only for 5 minutes. Rather say, I got joy in 5 minutes. Start rechanging, because when you rewire your verbatim, your thought processes, eventually your emotions associated with the thought processes also change. They also change. Rather than thinking, I could only sleep for 5 minutes. If you start thinking, wow, I got 5 minutes to sleep, there is a large difference, because your body, though it has its own intelligence, your mind overpowers your body. Okay, when the mind tells the body that you got 5 beautiful minutes of pause where you could get some joy, where you could get some peace, the body starts relaxing. When you say there is only 5 minutes, you are getting into a survival mode. When I say survival mode, your nervous system becomes hyperactivated. You're hyperstimulated. Okay, when you are hyperstimulated, the cortisol, it starts releasing into your body. Okay, so the most important strategy that I always say is, rather than looking into, it's all like half glass full and then, half glass empty and half glass full. So you need to change the verbatim of your thoughts. That is the first strategy. Change the verbatim of your thoughts. Okay. And that is possible when you start training yourself in small activities that you do on a day to day basis, because you're so hardwired to magnify the negative things, what you see in your life. So it becomes impossible to actually check the positive elements that have actually happened in your life. Okay, so it's very, very important, very, very important that become more conscious. Try to bring your focus more on, especially during motherhood. Time is one of the biggest, I would say your enemy. Okay, because that time is something that keeps troubling you a lot. So it's important, even 10 minutes, 5 minutes, you say, oh my God, I got very beautiful 5 minutes time. So when you start seeing yourself in that small pauses, you will start seeing more number of small pauses and you start seeing more positivity in the whole thing. I hope I'm making sense.
True, Kavitha garu, very true. Because it suddenly shift right from
Yeah.
sleeping 8 hours to every 2 hours you have to get up and you have to feed your baby.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of lack in the sleep that it goes into a anxious mode or anger. Every negative emotion rises in that moment. Instead of enjoying your baby, you'll be worrying about oh, I'm not getting sleep, I'm not getting enough sleep, I'm
Absolutely.
very tired. All those emotions will come up. Yes, at that time I do not have all this knowledge. I wish I should have, but it will definitely help other moms to how to enjoy that pauses, that 5 minutes pauses. It's very true. Yes.
So change the verbatim of your thoughts. That's the first strategy I always give to anyone. It's just not during the motherhood, it's for anything and everything.
For anything and everything. Yes.
Anything and everything, because when you start seeing the opportunity in positive opportunity in anything that's being given to you, you start enjoying life, because we all have to understand life is made up of many small moments. The major milestones are quite few, birth, career, maybe few more things, a wedding and a death. We're talking about around 5 to 6 major things. All the other things are very small minor things that keeps happening in our life. But fortunately, unfortunately, our focus is on major things in life, and we fail to forget the fact that that we have received a lot of good things in life, but we fail to really focus or become aware of
True, true,
that.
true.
That's pretty important. Okay,
Yeah, that's why
so
they say count your blessings and be gratitude. All those things will help us to
absolutely,
release all these emotions.
absolutely, absolutely. And next thing, have guilt-free rest. Don't think that your mom-in-law is going to take care of the baby, or your mother is going to take care of the baby. You're troubling them, or your somebody at home is taking care of the baby while you're sleeping. Because I also see this as a major problem where the young moms feel a lot of guilt to rest. You don't need to feel have guilt-free rest, because this transition, because when you are in a transition, a major transition in a human life, it's quite important that you have to take the support and help of others. So have guilt-free rest. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't never feel guilty about it. Okay. And the third thing is, don't hesitate to ask for support. Don't hesitate, because there are some moms, some families I see that who quite hesitant to ask for support. Don't hesitate to ask for support. Okay, because sometimes it so happens that that I can take care of myself, and there's nothing wrong. I can deal with it. But when you enter into the field, the story is something different. It's not the same story. Okay, that's that time you feel that you should have taken the support, but the support wasn't taken. So that's something that you have to understand. Don't hesitate to take the support of anyone. Okay, and whatever emotions you have, make a time in the day to express those emotions, and then you and your partner train to hear, because you are facing it more. So I mean, this is a pre-preparation before getting the baby, or before expanding the family, that you need to know that there will be many issues concerned. So try, or have somebody who can listen to your problems, because let me tell you, hearing is half healing. Hearing is half healing. Hearing without judgment is 70% healing. Okay, because when you say that, oh, we have given birth, we also faced all this. What is the big deal with you? Because usually we often keep hearing this. So please do understand that have someone, it could be anybody, I mean, before planning a family, discuss with your husband that this is how it is going to be. So I want you to listen to me. I might be wrong, I might be right, I might be dirty, I might be irritating. It could be anything. Just please listen to me, without judgment, without reaction, without judgment. Please do listen to me. So you need a connection over perfection. You understand? Because during the pregnancy, when you have a connection over perfection, your 50-60% of the problems are sorted out. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so you have to know that the peaceful mother is more valuable to a child than a perfect mother. Children don't need perfect mothers. They need peaceful mothers. They need emotionally available mothers. Okay, so I'll give you a small meditation technique. Probably, whenever you feel stressed or whenever you feel overwhelmed, you can probably, because when you're overwhelmed or you're stressed, your nervous system becomes hyper-regulated. So the whole job is to calm the nervous system. Okay, calm the nervous system. So I'll give a very small technique, a very, very small technique. Okay, so you put one hand on the chest, put one hand on your chest. Okay, one on the belly, one on the belly, one on the belly. Do an inhalation, but please see that while you are inhaling, generally the belly comes in, but you ensure that your belly comes up. Okay, you should see the belly, opening up. Okay, opening up. Exhalation, it has to go down, it has to contract. Okay, so this is the simple thing. So do the exhalation. Let us say you're doing the inhalation for a count of 4. Do the exhalation for a count of 6. For a count of 6. Okay, you can do this. Each batch can be around five breaths, and then probably you can do 3 rounds. Okay, you can do 3 rounds. While you're doing this, do the slow inhalation and slow exhalation, a longer exhalation. Because when the nervous system is hyper regulated, the breath becomes faster. Okay, so when the breathing is faster, when the breathing is shallow, when the breathing is faster, the nervous system gets into the hyperregulated mode. So when there is a hyperregulation, your heart beats faster, the cortisol levels increase in the body, so all these things are a signal to the brain that something is wrong with you. So by doing breathing like this, you are actually you're training your nervous system that everything is okay. You're safe. You're absolutely safe. Okay. So you are regulating your nervous system. So whenever you feel stressed, regulate your nervous system through the meditation technique. This is a very small technique, but it will really help you a lot. If you start practicing this from now and do it on a regular basis, because let me tell you one thing, the problem is just not with the new moms. There is a problem at every phase. Okay, there is a solution at every phase. Adolescent parenting has its own problems. Okay, primary age parenting has its own problems. Kindergarten parenting is a different story, it has its own problems. Even when the children grow into adults, that's another problem altogether. So let us not think that, if we start thinking the whole life is a problem, it is a problem. So every phase comes with a certain challenge, and we need to know how to handle the challenge. So if you learn this breathing, you can actually slow down the hyperactivated nervous system. You can regulate your nervous system, because once your nervous system regulates, your emotions eventually they regulate. Okay, another most important thing I want to tell you is, before becoming a mom, or before you expand your family, or even after expanding the family, it's very, very important that you know what are your inner child traumas. Inner child traumas. When I say inner child traumas, because there is no perfect parenting. Okay, there is no perfect parenting. every adult has a trauma that has been developed when as a child. Okay, I call it the, or we call it, the inner child traumas. So when when an adult nurtures a baby with an inner child trauma, that trauma is passed on to even to the child as well. So it's very, very important that you know what your inner child trauma is. So how do you identify that? So you can identify it through various ways. Okay, first, you have to understand, are you a people pleaser? Are you a perfectionist? People think perfectionism is a great choice, but I'm sorry, perfectionism is also a kind of a trauma, because as a child, you were not given love, you were not accepted unless you were perfect. Unless you were perfect. And because the love was not received, the attention was not received, the appreciation was not received, the acceptance was not received, safety, emotional safety was not given for some reason. It's not intention, it was not intended, it would have happened. Okay, because of this, every adult has an inner child trauma. Okay, there are some people who are quite paranoid in nature, they don't trust anybody, that is also a trauma. That's also a trauma. Okay, so there are some people pleasers who want to please everybody, every Tom, Dick, and Harry on the earth. Okay, there's nothing. That's also a kind of a trauma. Okay, you can be a perfectionist. That's a kind of a trauma. That's a kind of a trauma. Or are you too much of a giver? We think that, oh, that person is so good, gives away so much. That's also a trauma. A person who cannot set the boundaries, that's also a trauma. A person who cannot say no, that is also a trauma. You understand? So there are the traumas that we all have traumas. So it's very, very important that as an adult, as a mother, you know what is your trauma. What is the inner child trauma that you've been carrying? Okay. Because once you become conscious of your trauma, it becomes easy, because you are not going to repeat that, in your life to your child. That's a very, very important responsibility that you have to take as a mother. So please note that, and then come out of that inner child trauma. Okay, so, and then let me give you one more meditation technique. Okay, this is for the mother baby connection technique. Okay, a mother baby, let's say this is for the pregnant mothers. Okay, for the pregnant mothers, you just imagine, okay, a golden light surrounding your baby inside, a golden light protecting your baby. Okay, okay, and mentally say, you are safe. Okay, you are loved. We are growing together. You are safe. You are loved. We are growing together. While doing so, while giving this affirmation, imagine a golden light around the baby. Touch the baby, touch your tummy, and then feel the baby. Okay, feel the baby. Tell that you're loved, you're safe with me. You're safe with me. And for the new mothers, okay, this is for the mothers who are pregnant, and for the new mothers, okay? Okay. So hold gratitude instead of pressure. Have gratitude that the child is born to you, to make you a mom. The child has given you an opportunity to experience motherhood. Okay, and then, just visualize the calmness inside you. Just close your eyes, focus on your breath, and visualize the calmness entering the home. Calmness entering the home. You give some color and some shape to the calmness. That choice is all yours. Okay, give some shape and color to the calmness. And so, with this calmness, just imagine that calmness entering your home, and then just surrounding you, surrounding your baby, surrounding your home, creating a lot of peace at home. Okay, these are the two small visualizations that you can do. If you are a mom to be, or a new mother. Okay, so now, I give you few more techniques or few more practices that will actually create the happiness in you as a mother to be, or a new mom. Okay, so ensure that you get sunlight every day. Okay, I know that sometimes it's not possible, but ensure that you get sunlight every day, at least 5 minutes of sunlight. Okay, so before feeding the baby, do the slow breaths, what I told you. Because when you feed the baby with high cortisols, as I told you, you are nurturing, your baby is borrowing your nervous system. when you feed the baby with that highest cortisol in you, you are eventually transferring that cortisol to the baby as well. So before feeding, anytime, every time, take some 5 slow breaths. Imagine the golden light entering your home, creating peace and calmness, and then you feed the baby. Because it's the energy that transfers to the new baby. Okay, that's very, very important. Okay, and then take support. Don't hesitate to take support. Okay, have guilt-free sleep. You have every right to sleep. Okay, and start seeing joy in the small pauses, as I told you earlier. Start seeing joy in the small pauses. Don't say that. Change the verbatim of your thought. Don't say, I just got 10 minutes to sleep. Say, wow, I got 10 minutes to sleep. There's a difference. Because you are talking to your body. The mind talks to the body. When you talk to your body, the body eventually responds. Even 5 minutes sleep is enough for the body. If you say, I just got 5 minutes, even 10 hours sleep is not enough. Okay, so you're training your body because the body has an intelligence, and you train the body, and you train that intelligence in your body. You're doing that. Okay, and then and listen, have some calm music in the evenings. Have the habit of listening to it, and eat mindfully. Don't eat don't binge eat or don't crave eating. Eat mindfully. That's pretty important. Okay, and then do some small exercises that are very much important to reduce the stress. If walk barefoot, don't wear on footwear all the time. Walk barefoot and touch the ground, because the grounding itself is one of the biggest healings. Okay, and if you have trees around, touch the grass. Get stimulation from the nature, because nature has a very beautiful way of grounding you and removing that excess energy what you're holding inside. Okay, sleep whenever there is a possibility, with gratitude. Okay, so what you need here is the emotional rest more than the physical rest. Understand? Because when you look into the physical rest, even if you're sleeping for 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, when you cannot be calm emotionally, that sleep is not good enough. So if you're emotionally at peace, even a 10-minute sleep is a good sleep. It's a good sleep. Okay, so and so don't be mentally overloaded. Don't be mentally overloaded. Okay, so these are the few things. So let me give you some probably some short affirmations that you can repeat. Close your eyes. All of you, close your eyes. Let me give you a few affirmations. Okay, I do not need to be perfect. I only need to become more present. Okay. I do not need to be perfect. I only need to be more present. More present. My calmness is nourishment to my child. My calmness is nourishment to my child. Okay. So just keep giving these affirmations to. Please open your eyes. Please give these affirmations to yourself. Keep talking to yourself. Keep telling yourself, because when you tell yourself, this is the way you regulate your nervous system. As the more you're at peace, everything becomes more at peace, and then it becomes pretty easy to manage your situations. Because the more you're stressed, no matter even the most beautiful and the most privileged things are given to you still stand stressed. So it's more to do with mind. It's more to do with the mind. It's more to do with your thoughts, because it's more to do with your emotions, because you need to understand behind every behavior there is an emotion. Behind every emotion there is a thought, and behind every thought there is a situation that has created that thought. So if you can just change, you cannot change the situation, but if you can change the thought, that changes that emotion, that changes your behavior. So if you can change the behavior, you can be more at peace, more calm, more regulated, and your child grows beautifully in that environment. And you will really experience the beautiful phase of the motherhood. So, with that, I will like to call this a day. And thank you so much for this opportunity. And then, if there are any questions that you want to ask me, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Kavitha Garu, for your precious time and wisdom about how to take care of ourselves when we are pregnant. And all this information is not just when we are pregnant and when we have a child. This will be helpful for everybody. You gave us so much wisdom about how to calm the nervous system. Thank you so much for the breathing techniques and visualization techniques and affirmations that you have given. Thank you again. And friends, if you have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask.
Hi, ma'am. This is Rashmi here. Not a mom to be, but mom of a teenager. As you said, each of these technique, I think it is not just for moms to be. Moms at any stage they can use it because uh, we face different challenges at each stage. With a teenager boy, it's a different, altogether different challenge, and these calming techniques and mindfulness, it always, I feel it helps us while we are dealing with our growing children. So thank you so much. Very insightful. And I was very impressed with the title you had given in the introduction, Happiness Woman. I was very curious, like, why you call yourself a happiness woman, but hearing your experience and seeing you today, I think it's an apt title for yourself. Thank you so much for coming today.
This is not the title I have given myself. This is because I was teaching. I used to take the training workshops for the women and the teens, under the title Happiness is Your Birthright.
Oh, okay.
This is happening for the past 15 years. So, I mean, the title has been given or it has come. I don't know. I really don't understand like how it got connected, but that's how people started addressing me. And then, it got attached to my name. So thank you so
Yeah,
much, Rashmi.
it is perfect. It is so perfect for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
And friends, anyone else? I'll go last. I'm just waiting for everyone. Okay. Yeah, Rashmi.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Kavitha Garu, thank you so much. Actually, I do share like a part of Rashmi's name, and I think I can piggyback on her sentiment too. I would start off with thanks a lot. I mean, this was not just informative for like moms to be, but this is actually for any, I mean, women in general too, right? We play so many roles, and very oftentimes, I'm sure like majority of us here too can relate to, right? Even in spirituality, we try to make it what next, what next. I believe we are so used to this multitasking that no matter what setting we are in, work, home, or even our spiritual endeavors, we kind of pull the theme forward. So it's really nice. I mean, very affirmative to hear that, it's not the perfectionism that we are aiming at, but to enjoy everything, right? So, I mean, kudos to you for pulling through and kind of putting both like amalgamating spirituality with your day to day life. I wish, I mean, I wanted to pursue biology as a kid, but I couldn't. And I ended up doing some IT related work. But you're truly an inspiration. This was helpful for me, and I'm sure many of us here can relate to it. Thank you for your time and everything that you shared today.
Thank you so much, Rashmi. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rashmi. Friends, anyone else? I have a question. Gayatri Garu, please go ahead. Gayatri,
My sister-in-law is also on the call. She's a new mom with the twins and dealing with, she has to go back to work and doing PhD and that is, I mean, taking care of twins, like if you are caring for one baby and the other baby also seeks attention, like how to like calm down. Like I know like these techniques would help, but again, like any specific thing, Akka, to concentrate while we have to go back to work, and how to can we prioritize child um, taking care of children over our thing, like okay, I can get back to it later, and sometimes we might worry about missing opportunity, or this is the time if I'm gonna lose my whole life, kind of stress moms go through, right, dealing with career and taking care of children. What is the best thing you can tell us to calm down on that aspect, Akka?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Gayatri, for that question. As I already told, earlier, the most important thing is never be guilty, because as I mentioned, nobody is perfect, and we can never become perfect because it's impossible to become perfect. So whatever variables that we are holding right now, and then within that variables, what is the best possible solution that is possible? That is what we should be looking into. So I totally understand that, taking care of kids, twins, and then working, it's not a small thing. And sometimes, there is a guilt inside that I took care of this one child and the other child is left, or I left the work. So the most important thing that we need to understand, a little planning is required, because we need to know when, while working, the basic, the feed and then the sleep are being taken care of the children. And the most important thing is, let us remove the guilt that is strangling us from inside, because it's always the guilt that troubles us, that we couldn't do this. It's just not with the babies. This is the case that I have heard during the COVID time, where I was taking up the online corporate trainings. There was a lot of work pressure, and most of the moms were quite guilty that children are at home and they are working, because while you're away from home, you don't feel that, because the children are being taken care of. But while you are at home, children come, you're not able to attend to them, you're able to focus, you have to focus on the work, and you can't give time to the children. So it's pretty important that, so no need to feel guilty about what exactly, what is the best possible solution, or what is the ideal way of doing things. The most important thing is, what is the best possible solution in the given context. That is something that we need to think about. That is the thing that we need to think about. So first, removing guilt itself takes away 50% of the stress, especially a new mom with work and twins is more stressed because of the guilt that she's carrying inside, and because she's scared, and that she will not be in a position to justify both the things. So it's important that a small planning is needed, so because otherwise, like, what did she plan for the twins? So there has to be some planning, right? So we need to look at the planning and then remove the guilt element of it, because everything, anything at all the times is not possible. And we cannot satisfy everything, everyone, all at the same time. It's not possible. So there has to be some kind of compromise at some position. But because children cannot be compromised, their feeding cannot be compromised, the sleep patterns cannot be compromised. Okay, touch in a way, yes, while you're working, probably the child doesn't get the touch. That can be a bit compromised. So it's very important that we know that what are the things that can be compromised, what shouldn't be compromised. Because first, thinking that you have to get everything itself is the stress. And you can't be quite ideal that way. Not possible. You don't need to be a perfect mom. You need to be a mom who justifies within the given variables. So when we can start thinking that way, the solutions becomes easier. And everybody can do justice in that given situation. So it's all to do with the mind. So let's rephrase. What are the variables? What is that we have? What are the things that we can compromise? What are the things that we cannot compromise? So most urgent, important, that can be little dealt later. So we need to categorize the frame of works, and then, probably start attending to it. That way, we would be in a position to do justice to the situation.
Thank you, Kavitha.
Thank you, Akka. It's more like we should not feel guilty of whatever choices we make.
Absolutely not.
That is
That's the
what-
biggest stress.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Akka.
Thank you. Most welcome.
Yeah. Friends, anyone else? We'll take few more. Anyone else has any questions? Please unmute yourself. And also, Kavitha garu, you gave us very nice information about the inner child trauma, which most of us are not familiar with. So you said we'll become people pleaser because of our childhood trauma. We might become a perfectionist, or we don't trust people. How to take all those emotions before pregnancy? You said we have to come out of our childhood trauma. So could you give us some suggestions how to work with the trauma, inner child trauma?
This is actually a 4 hours workshop. So let me just give you an idea of, because the reason why I spoke about it is because awareness is very important. Let's just say that, the reason why I said that, you need to understand the pattern of the behavior, because some patterns are quite repetitive patterns. Like, let me take a very small example. Let us say that you have a people pleaser trauma inside you. Okay, I give you a reason why it has come in. Okay, because there was inconsistent love given by your parents or the primary caregiver during your childhood. Okay, so you started pleasing the people. You started pleasing the people because that is one of the coping mechanisms you have developed, to have your survival, or to survive on your own. Okay, so this is something that you have developed, let's say that. So after you become a mom, and when, let us say, this is the trauma that you've been carrying since your childhood. Okay, so when you're carrying a trauma like this, so when you become a mom, you really want to do the best to your husband, best to your caretaker, whomsoever you have called for the delivery, or anybody. It could be your mom-in-law, it could be a mom, it could be anybody. Okay, so, and you want to be the best to your office, to your manager. Okay, so when there is something that you want to really do everything for everyone, that was Gayatri's question. Okay, when you have to really do everything for everyone at all the times, at the same pace, it's not possible, because that's the trauma that a person has been carrying for some time. Okay, and that's the trauma that you've been having. Because, so when you have this as a behavior, as a pattern of behavior, where you want to do good, you cannot say no, you cannot set the boundaries, you can't say no, you want to take everything from everyone. Okay, when you want to do that, see, eventually there is a possibility that you are stressed out all the time, all the time, because if you're able to satisfy two, there are the two you're not able to satisfy. Okay, so you need to know, please understand the patterns of behavior that are repetitive in nature. Okay, especially during motherhood. Let me give you one more example. Let us say you're carrying a trauma of being a perfect person. Okay, so you want everything to be so perfect, and it's not possible, especially during a phase like this, to be perfect in everything. See, either you have to give more attention to the child, probably you have to give less attention to your husband, to your others. But, and so, in the possibility like this, it might not be possible to be perfect at all the phases, during all the works. So this is the trauma that you've been carrying. When you are carrying a trauma like this, so there is always a guilt and stress in you that something has not happened the way you wanted that to happen, and which was happening before becoming a mother. Okay, which was happening before becoming a mother. Some people carry, if not trauma, some OCDs they carry, and some OCDs, they that also trouble them at some point of time. Okay, so it's important that you know what is your personality, what are you, because most of us know about us when others tell us, when others talk about us. Others say, oh, you're so good, you're so giving by nature, you are the giver in this relationship, we feel extremely happy. But what we fail to understand, am I a people pleaser that I have become a giver in this relationship? Okay, so it's very important that you know yourself, you know about your patterns of behavior, you know about the repetitive patterns of behavior that is actually manipulated into a personality of you. Okay, so it's pretty important that you know what you are, because there are sometimes your behavior, just sit down and sit for some time and think, what are you as a person? What are your behaviors? What are your repetitive patterns? Where do you get angry often? Where do you get angry often? How do people recognize you? How do people call you? Because that all gives you a kind of a personality. And if you can start digging inside, you know that there is some issue there. You understand? You know that there is some issue that's actually that's been the trauma inside you since quite a long time, but which manifested as a as with a title like a good person, an angry person, a perfectionist, an OCD person. You know, these are all the titles being given to people. But you need to know that that is the trauma that's inside you, and that is what has made you behave like that. Behave like that. So it's important that you identify the patterns, then you know like what to do.
Thank you so much, Kavitha garu.
Like
It's been more than a year that I stopped doing that. Yeah.
yeah, you have a big overview of the society, how the psychological aspects in different levels affect the whole society. So, where do you think, Akka, we need to fix and work on, like at individual level? Like, if every family can take care of these things, I mean, it will impact the bigger society in this way. Like, what do you think the major problems you see? Like, because you have a bigger overview of things, so I would like to ask this question, Akka.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. Yeah. See, we need to understand that family is the smallest unit of any society. If that unit can be corrected, the society gets corrected, the civilization changes. The civilization comes into picture from the smallest unit, which is the family. So, as you rightly said, we always work on the smallest unit at the ground level unit. When you can change, bring in the changes at the ground level unit, you know, the change eventually occurs across the civilizations. It occurs across the civilization. Civilization changes, in fact. So we need to think about, because the whole focus when I take up the group works, or when I am into the policy, my focus is on the individual smallest unit. So what are the changes that we bring in the smallest unit, such that when each small unit, at least a little more than majority of the small unit, implements these changes, eventually it changes the society as a whole, as a whole. So what you just pointed out, I mean, it makes absolute sense.
Thank you.
System needs to be changed, Akka, for that, like how the education, like how the things like the patriarchal society are like we have like women safety issues and all, right? Like how can we address on those things, Akka? I mean, how can we teach our children how to be safe and how to be confident, especially the girl children? Um, I mean,
Gayatri, I think more than teaching, it is the experience that really brings in that paradigm shift. Because teaching is something that they've been hearing, you know, from there's no dearth for knowledge. Okay, especially in this century, there is definitely no dearth for knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge available. You know, there's a lot of free knowledge. The whole problem is, you know, the experiential wisdom. You know, the experiential wisdom which the children have to undergo. You know, that is where it is missing. So see, structurally, definitely, because the government, the local governments, you know, the structures, the education systems, the healthcare systems, you know, we talk about the various systems where the changes have to come, and this is where I have been creating policies. I have been working with the government on this, you know, but I mean that is more to do with that. That is more to do with an area like, you know, where though we are connected, but we are not directly connected. But definitely, when we can think of all these things at the smallest unit of a society, like a family, breaking the patriarchy, and then, talking about empowering the women, talking about empowering the girl child, talking about talking is a very wrong word. I would rather say that, actioning it out, actioning it out at a family structure. If we can do that, if we do that, probably initially there would be, there definitely will be friction for that, because there is so much of hardwiring, into a specific way of, a family structure, that a sudden change would eventually not be so felt appreciable. But if you can teach children that this is the way it is, and they have the equal, because today we are talking about equals. When we talk about the gender equality in all the ways, Okay, so I mean, when we can implement at a layer that is possible for us, at that a layer that is possible for us. Okay, like for example, I'll give you an example. I mean, a young couple came to me. The complaint of that boy was like, they're around 27, 28 years. The complaint of that boy was that the girl doesn't wake up in the morning, to make tea for him. And then I asked him, is the girl working? He said, yes, the girl is working. So what are her working hours? I think she works in the night shift and she wakes up quite late in the morning. So, I mean, then I said, can't you make your own tea? He said, no, I do not know how to make, and girls have to make the tea. I mean, there are still the structures that are still existing in the society. But I think the change has to be brought in. I know. I think this is exactly where the boundaries have to be drawn very clearly. One should develop the ability to say no, and one should stand for themselves. Because sometimes we are so much habituated. Uh, Being in the trauma loop. Being in the trauma loop. I call it the trauma loop. Because there is so much because if somebody is used to a certain kind of an abuse, they are so much hardwired to that abuse that abuse is normalized. It's normalized. So most of these situations are being normalized in the society because they're normalized in the society. So you don't see it as an abuse at all. You don't see it as an abuse because you get used to it, and then you start finding reasons for it. Okay, domestic violence. He comes and he beats me, he abuses me. That's okay. He's a man, he's used to it. That's fine, because there is this trauma loop that one gets habituated to. They normalize it and they don't find it as a trauma. The reason for many abuses happening across the globe is this, because most of the abuses are normalized. They're accepted. If we really want to bring in a change into the society, into the structure, it is important that one starts actioning it out at a family layer. Foregoing the fear, foregoing what would happen, foregoing that they might get hurt, foregoing that we shouldn't be people pleasing. I think we need to come out of many things in that, and then we need to action it out at the smallest unit. And I think once we start seeing, the children eventually learn from that. They also know that they need to stand for their rights. So it's important that it is a small example. It all starts with a small example. That happens at the smallest unit, that is the family. So if that can start eventually, the change, it's a chain reaction, because when there is a change that is happening over some time, the civilization changes. So it's all starts with the family. The other structures, yes, because if let us say that if 50% of the families want it in a certain way, eventually the systems change. Because the systems remain the same because there is no change in the family unit. So anything is the family. Everything, anything is the relationship. If there is a change, everything else changes.
Thank you so much, Kavitha garu.
Yeah.
Let's ask one last question. We have actually exceeded. We asked you for until 11 a.m., but it's already 11:23. But I'll just ask one last question. Since you said your mother has to be calm before they feed the baby, because it is the same nervous system. Like it acts as the same nervous system. So is it going to affect the kids even when they become adults, like 10 years old, 12 years old? Will mom's emotions affect the kid?
It definitely affects, because it again depends upon the kind of connection that one establishes, because the child's primary connection is the parents or the primary caregiver, no matter whosoever it is. So eventually, if the parent is hurt, okay, the child also gets hurt. Okay, and I'll give a very small example for that. Let us say that the parents are expecting that the child passes in an exam with a great grade. Okay, and the child fails in the exam. And I know many cases where the children have taken away their lives, just because they couldn't get through an exam. What What is actually making them, to seek such a, extreme action, that they feel that the life is not there, without this exam. What is really making them do that? And why are they? This could be one serious example. Second example, why are children getting into addictions? What is the reason for addictions? What is the reason for addictions? Why they are not able to see the world when they are sober? And what is that they are experiencing something so different when they're addicted? So it's important to understand. It's important to understand the impact eventually is definitely there. It again depends upon what kind of connection the family is having between them. Let us say the family is highly disconnected right from the childhood. Let us say the family is highly disconnected, because once a child becomes an adolescent, or the child is into a primary school, the child sees there's no connection. The child comes here because it's a primary caregiving home. So it all depends upon if the child is going to see the home as a home or just a house. Is it a residing place to be in? So the connection between the parent and the child, though because the child does not have his own thoughts while as a baby, and as the child is growing up, the child starts seeking his or her own experiences of the world. The child starts perceiving the world in a way the child experiences the world. So it all depends upon the connection what the family has with the child. Okay. And let us say that there is a disconnect between the child and the family. Let us say that there is a great disconnect between the children and the parents. Okay. So these are the children. There is already a disconnect. The child is failing somewhere. There is more a stress. There's already a stress that's already existing. And the child is failing in life. If the child is already failing in life and there is already a disconnect, eventually the parents are also not happy, because something that like that has happened to the child. So it all depends upon the connection between the family. And I do see that at least a majority of the families have some kind of connection with the children. That kind of great disconnect I don't really see, unless until there is some mental health issue with the family, or there has been a trauma in the family that the child got disconnected from the whole family. But definitely impact would be there. So it might not be as big as again carrying or borrowing the nervous system of the parent, for sure. For sure, as the child is growing up, the child builds his own nervous system based on his or her own experiences of life. But definitely there is a connection. And the impact would definitely be there. But what percentage that impact has depends upon the connection between the family and the child.
Thank you, Kavitha garu. Yeah, I think we can call it a day. We have exceeded 30 more minutes than what we have before. But thank you so much, Kavitha garu, for such an enlightening session. Thank you so much for coming and spending your precious time with us. Yeah, from all of us, thank you so much for coming to our
Thank you so
platform.
much for this wonderful opportunity. It's been a pleasure talking to you all. And then thank you so much. If you can just type Dr. G.C. Kavitha or Gowthavaram Chengala Kavitha, I think there are a few talks, that you can find on YouTube, or you can just Google my name and you'll find my talks to different channels, or, to different, on various debate platforms. So maybe a few more insights, you can gain few more insights from that. So thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. And then thank you, Swayam, and thank you, Gayatri, for inviting me. And then, so wish you all a great day, great Sunday, and have a great day. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kavitha garu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gayatri garu, for bringing us such a great master.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.